Hello, everyone, and thank you for tuning in to another episode of Fear the
Fear
Queer.
the Queer, a show that talks about everything on our gay agendas. I'm Kyle.
And I'm Josh. I was supposed to try to do like the sassy emoji, but I realized I
Oh,
think
like the little sassy ding.
yeah, but then I went like this. So
Oh, you did the little limp wrist.
yeah,
Is he
is he
gay?
no,
Yeah.
yeah.
Is he, Um how are you? It's been a second.
I was gonna say welcome back. Third time's a
Welcome
charm.
back. Third time's a charm. This episode we're talking about new beginnings, but what we're going to be doing is we're going to be actually reviewing our season 1 of the show. That came out, what was it, like 2018?
2018. It's been like 2 years.
Oh my
And
God.
yeah, basically this is just going to be like a little time capsule episode where we're just
Yeah.
revisiting all of the old episodes, hearing how great or bad or cringeworthy they might be. And
I think it's gonna be cringe.
I think so. I think we've grown up a little bit. I mean, now we're on the cusp of, old age. So we're wiser.
Age is just a number.
Yeah.
I'm
Okay,
young at
Leah.
heart. Oh, R.I.P. Aaliyah. I've been seeing a lot of Aaliyah love since we're coming off of it's been weeks. It's been like a month since we had Halloween. But there were so many like Queen of the Damned costumes this year, and I was like, wow, people are really killing it. Like, I feel like this moment for us, like, speaking of like pop stars though, like another pop star, I know this is so random, but like we okay, so a couple weeks ago, you know how it was like the Pink Friday 10-year
Their
anniversary?
anniversary. Yeah.
That's crazy, right?
I remember when that was sitting in the Walmart new releases, and it was sitting right next to Eminem CD, and it's just been such a crazy.
Insane.
That's 10 years ago in my local Walmart at home.
I, I remember like playing Super Bass and driving around with like a Little Caesars pizza next to me in Michigan and like a large Diet Coke from McDonald's. I was about to be like, what's that place with the clown?
So you went to McDonald's
McDonald's.
first to get a drink, and then you got a Little Caesars pizza afterwards.
I don't see an issue with that. Well, you can't go to Little Caesars and get a large Diet Coke. You could get a 2 liter of Diet Coke,
Well, you might as well have just
which
done that.
which I'm not going to admit that I have done that. But when you're like, I was like, what, 19, 20 when this was happening? Yeah. So
Yeah,
like, yeah, 10 years ago. Yeah,
yeah.
20. I was 20 years old. A ripe young age of 20.
Give
Um,
a heartbeat running away.
oh my God. I would just be like, this one is for the boys in the booming system, top down AC with the cooling system when they come in. And I was like, I think I can rap. I think
You
I
and
can rap.
Selena Gomez and Taylor Swift, like they all jumped on the super bass wagon of just like, look, I can rap.
Yes, I can rap. And I just felt so like on top of it at the time. Um, but
Only
yeah,
time
I feel like
pop,
right
pop.
now, the only time I've taught, no, it's 2018. If you're not versed, you're homophobic. That is, quoting my favorite quote of maybe all time.
Right.
By Mr. Ryan Kenny, guest of the show, friend of the pod. But right now, I feel like now that we're coming into like our new beginnings,
Hmm.
is this our like Pink Friday? Like I've been revisiting Pink Friday, so I feel like it's like our Roman revenge period.
Oh, so like the follow up, like
Yeah, we're like, do you remember when we did New Beginnings? Well,
yeah,
this is New Beginnings, Roman revenge.
noted.
Or, yeah, or like Lady Gaga, like New Beginnings, like the Fame Monster. Like we're like it's the
This
New
is the
Beginnings, but with
this
like
is the deluxe version album of the original new album.
yes. And
Yeah.
let me tell you, in quarantine, with everything that I've been eating, I'm definitely a deluxe meal now. I'm not a snack. I am the full damn meal. So,
Not even
I
you're the deluxe package meal.
I'm the deluxe package meal. I'm the taco box. Like, not the one where you're like, oh, I got the Crunchwrap Supreme and the 2 soft tacos and the large Diet Coke. I'm like the large Diet Coke and then that taco box that has like 12 different tacos.
The party box.
The party box. Oh my God. This, where I am in my life right now, I'm the full taco party box.
Yeah, exactly.
Which audience, let me just tell you this. Um, it is possible to eat all 12 of those tacos and not feel like you're on the verge of death.
I saw him do it. It
I
was
did.
he was snapping me his journey through the Taco Bell party pack, and it was lovely.
I felt fine.
It was
I was like,
it was
this is
election night,
powerful.
wasn't it?
It was election. Yeah, it was election night. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to eat all 12 of these tacos. And they give it to you. I don't know how many of you have single-handedly eaten 12 tacos in one night from Taco Bell. Not sponsored. But they put it in a box. And that box is super cute. Like if the clubs were open, if I just bedazzled some of that, it's my new clutch.
Your taco, oh, like your purse.
Yeah, my purse. Yeah, yeah. What the box that the tacos came in.
Yeah,
yeah.
If
It's
you open up, the tacos are still in there. Like you're just at the club. Just
well, you get hungry at the club. Like they only have drinks there. I'm
that's
like, oh, can I get a vodka soda? And I'm gonna eat my crunchy
kind of
soft
crunch with
taco.
the cream.
My crunchy soft taco. Lord, I will say I'm very disappointed that all the things that have happened in 2020, they took the spicy potato tacos off the Taco Bell menu.
That is one of the devastating news that we have had in 2020.
And I know I'm not the only one who's upset by this.
I'm sure you and the other 12,000 people who eat 12 tacos in one night.
That's right. And
Yeah.
still looking fabulous. I truly believe that fast food, there's so much preservatives in it that I just stay looking young.
No, that's your filler.
No fillers on me. Like, do you see a wrinkle, ma'am?
No, that ring light is doing its over duty there.
That light is doing, there's like tape under my wig.
Yeah.
So Josh, before we get into it, what are you drinking?
Water. Because trying to stay hydrated in this crazy, crazy ass time. And plus, I've learned over the years that the more water you drink, the better your skin looks. So, unfortunately,
Amazing. I did not know that. The doctors, the dermatologists never told me that.
right. They're just like, stop drinking water, Kyle.
They're like, stop drinking water, which I did, which is why I drink coffee.
There you go.
And do you love my mug?
I do.
My mug is a horse, because in case anyone forgot, I am a horse girl at heart.
Okay.
I'll gallop. I'm
I was
gonna
like,
gallop.
I don't remember you ever saying that.
Really?
So,
I have a horse tattoo.
I know that. We know that. Anyway, so because we've been gone for so long, we were literally talking about you eating 12 tacos on election night. We haven't even released a podcast in over a month. And
wild.
I know, it's crazy. So because of the craziness that has been from our last episode till now, we decided to do a brand new segment for you all called Can You Keep Up? And what that segment is about is basically we just took all the news headlines that have happened over these past 30 days, and we just are going to read them off in order and just show you how fucking crazy it's been in just 30 days. So we actually went ahead and we split it up into two parts.
Sorry, I'm so sorry to interrupt. What was that little sound?
It's my computer.
Oh, that was your computer chair? Okay, sorry. I don't know if the sound picked that up or if I could just hear it. But all of a sudden you're like, so we compiled the list and I hear, burp, burp, and I was like, that sound came from Josh and I'm the one who ate the 12 tacos. I'm just saying.
It was the chair.
It was the chair. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So I swear it was.
Sorry.
Yeah. Anyway, so we split it up into two parts. The first part is articles that specifically talk about the election and the clusterfuck that was. And then the second half is the rather unfortunate reality that we're still living in a pandemic and things are still very real. And yeah, we're just going to read it off to you guys and just show you how crazy it is. So Kyle, do you want to start off with part one, the remix?
Let's do it. Okay, so part one, the remix, the Fame Monster, Roman's Revenge.
Deluxe edition.
So the deluxe edition, yeah. So on October 26, 2020, Senate confirms Amy Coney Barrett heralding the new conservative era for the Supreme Court.
Which we can all just say, ew, like.
Yeah, I mean, like, I almost don't even want to give it that much, like, airtime because, like,
Right.
What can we say that hasn't been said already about this like terrible person? And
Exactly.
just like how hypocritical it is that the Republicans were able to confirm her when they wouldn't let Obama confirm his picks.
Right. I mean, all it is just showing their true colors. So that we'll
Yeah.
just leave it at that. 3 days later, a news article from the Washington Post says Gen Z millennial votes embrace activism and voting as youth turnout surges ahead on election day.
So, I mean, I'm not surprised there. Half the time, I believe the children are our
I was
future.
just gonna sing that.
Yeah, like I legit am so excited for a majority. I can't say every young person because I know you have a TikTok. I'm on TikTok too, and there's still like some young conservatives out there that are wild. They are so wild. Have you seen the TikTok of the girl who like is like, I don't want to be injected by the vaccine, and she does this whole thing. I mean, it's high drag.
Yeah.
It's like full high drag mama, where she's like, I don't wanna die, I don't wanna die. And she has like full face beat with like ketchup smeared on her nose, like she's being beat into having the vaccine, and then she goes to heaven. So
I
like,
oh,
I
God.
mean, props for her acting, because clearly
I guess.
she's getting booked.
I mean, hopefully,
But
hopefully these young conservatives will grow up and realize that there's more to life than this Trump like era that we're living in.
yeah.
My favorite TikTok of this era is just the girl who's just like, guys, my dad just got beat up because he was a Trump supporter, and it was just because he was a Trump supporter. And I do it again. Bah, bah, bah. Like that is my like there are two types of TikTokers. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do enjoy that also.
yeah.
So the next election is Sarah McBride makes history as the first trans state senator in U.S. history, and that was November 3rd. So how exciting about this?
Not trying to say that like, we're ahead of the culture, but do you guys remember when we highlighted Sarah McBride on one of our Catch That Queer segments?
I do.
I'm just saying, we had it.
I mean, I say all the time I'm an amateur psychic.
Exactly. Okay.
So yeah.
One day later, Republicans in Michigan tried to storm a Detroit ballot counting room to challenge the process. And that was from BuzzFeed News.
So stupid. Honestly,
I was gonna say, do you
What were you
remember
gonna
when
say?
the Republicans are just like, rioting and violence isn't gonna solve anything? Like, what are these dumbass Democrats doing in the streets for Black Lives Matter?
See, and that's the most absurd thing, is because they were like, "Oh, you're rioting and you're upset and you're protesting in the streets." Yeah, because Black people are treated so terribly in this country that this country can't even confront its racism that it was built upon, and that should make people angry.
Mm-hmm.
And yet they're angry because their leader of their cult is losing an election, so they're going to act out.
Right. And
It was like,
well, and then it's like people in Michigan are screaming like "stop the count," and then in Arizona they're like "count every vote." It's just like y'all are insane.
education is important, people.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. All right. What's
But
the next one?
so the next, which is 3 days later, because we're in the land of COVID, so obviously it's going to take longer for the election results to come through. But Biden wins Pennsylvania and the presidency. That was November 7th.
And that was a long 3 days of waiting for the Democrats and anybody who just didn't want Trump in office. Like that was a long 3 days to wait to hear them finally call it.
Honestly, yeah. I mean, it's a weird thing. I'm not saying that like I was super confident that Biden was going to win. Like I remember back in, I think, like July and August, I was like, yeah, Trump's going to win again. Like I don't want him to win again, but I just had this like feeling. And then maybe like a week or two before the election, I was just like, Trump's not going to win. Biden's going to win. Like I had that feeling. So going to bed on election night on the 3rd, I was like, it looked like Trump was going to win. And I knew it was going to look like that. We all knew, well, not all of us. Some of the Fox News people did not know what was happening.
Right.
But we knew that most likely Trump was going to be up in
The
in
in-person voting, yeah.
the in-person voting. Thank you. And because he told his supporters to not vote by mail. So of course Biden's voters voted by mail. I mean, I voted in person because my voting place is right down the street, and I was literally the only person there. Because everyone was voting early. It was just like, why wouldn't I? It's easier.
Yeah.
But I went to bed and then woke up and it was like, he's ahead in the polls. He's flipping Michigan. He's flipping Wisconsin. And I was just like, yeah, I know Biden's going to win. And then we just kind of sat there thinking he was going to win. And now it's been weeks of him continuously winning.
Right. I was just like, there's been 4 different headlines. It's just like, Biden wins. Biden wins. By the way, Biden wins, you guys. Speaking of a great headline with Biden winning, is that Kamala Harris was also announced that day as the first female vice president in U.S. history. And that just touches the surface there. Is she's the first female. She's also the first Asian, first Black woman. Like, now granted, I do have my own personal feelings about Kamala Harris, but we'll talk about that when she's actually in office. I think it's still great to see progress where progress needs to be made. And the fact that Kamala Harris can now break down those glass ceilings and say, hey, we now have a first woman, Asian, Black woman in vice presidency role, great. Like,
yeah, honestly, like, I think sorry, I was listening to you, but in the monitor you could see an Amazon package behind me when I would move my arm. So I like behind me. So I had to like throw that on the ground so you couldn't see it. I'm so sorry. But yeah, I agree with everything you said. I've been shopping. Yeah, I've been shopping. Because I'm not trying to leave my house.
Yeah, don't leave your house, you guys. It's really bad right now.
Yeah. So anyways, so when this was happening, the GOP loses in Michigan again, and the judges deny incorrect and not credible effort to block election results. Because as we all know, Trump, like, I feel like we don't even have to like really report on this. But like, as we all know, Trump was trying to stop these elections and everyone's like, the fuck are you doing? Like,
yeah. I mean, Michigan's been really interesting to watch because you've had people like storm the polling offices and being like, stop the count or whatever. And then there's all these lawsuits that are going to Michigan that keep failing. And then Trump even invited people from Michigan to the White House. Yep. And then even after that, and they were like Republicans, and they were still just like, yeah, sorry, you lost. Like,
what can I say? As someone, I'm from Michigan, and we're all bitches who live for the drama. So
they just wanted to actually go to the White House for like the free dinner, and they're just like, I mean,
we're like, we heard that you ordered McDonald's, President Trump, and we're into it.
Is there the Taco Bell party pack around here anywhere?
Right. Melania's like, I don't want the fucking taco pack for the Christmas decorations.
Oh, who gives a fuck about Christmas?
That's my Eastern European. And no, that's not problematic because I'm white.
So does that mean I'm problematic for doing it?
No, because I'm Caucasian and you're Asian. So I'm Caucasian. Sure. Obviously, this is a joke. There's a whole history to the word Caucasian that we won't get into, but I made a joke.
Oh, just like I got lost.
Does that mean
a second? Anyway,
does that mean I'm canceled now?
I mean, I could just turn your video off now if we want to.
People watching are just like, thank God the pasty one is gone.
Right. Okay, so then 2 days later, as you all know, Trump has been trying so hard to not concede the election. He has been, I mean, his Twitter is just so fun to read now because everything that he tweets out like has like that little exclamation point, like, this has been disputed. But 2 days after the GOP loses in Michigan, Trump admits for the first time that Biden won the election, but he still insists he is not going to concede because, you know.
Of course he doesn't.
Right. He will find a way. He will still make America great, you guys.
And on that note, literally 3 days after he's doing that, the Trump campaign starts paying for a recount in Wisconsin, but only in areas with large black populations.
Population?
Literally Not back populations, black.
I know.
Black populations.
I heard you say back. I'm just like, anyone who has a large back, you must be recounted.
Back rolls.
Unless Edwards is like,
back rolls.
I
My
know.
vote counts. Yeah, but like, of course, like, you know, he's going to be doing that.
So many people, so many states. Like, I mean, recounts have been a very common thing, like over the years.
Yeah.
Recounts have never been so dramatic as this election, I feel like, because literally a day later after the Wisconsin recount, Georgia completes its full recount again, and it still affirms that Biden has won by a lot.
Yeah.
Like, and Trump paid like $3 million into all of these efforts, into these recounts, only to say, hey, you lost again. Sorry.
Money he could be spending on his back taxes that he owes.
Not back taxes.
Back taxes. Also, clock this moment when, after he's out of the White House, they're going to come for his taxes.
Oh, easily. New York is going to, they're going to find something on him.
It's so funny. It's like, here, let me piss off New York. Yeah, they're going to come for him.
Yeah. And then finally, after all of this, after the fact that everyone's been like, okay, we have proof that these counts are real, like we're doing everything correctly, there is no voter fraud. 538 reported that more Republicans distrust this year's election results than Democrats did in 2016.
I'm not surprised by this.
No.
I'm not surprised by this. It's makes total sense to me. I mean, I get it. You want your candidate to win. I get that. But the difference is that, like, these conservative Trump supporters, it's totally a cult. We need a deprogramming in this country because they still think that they're in the Manson family cult.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
because my friend Heather, friend of a podcast, she was talking about how growing up, she would always be like, I mean, yeah, like Hitler was insane and the Nazis were an insane time frame, but she's like, but that would never happen in America. Like, it could never get pulled off. But we were watching in real time just how close we got to it. Like,
yeah, I mean, or I don't think we're
not completely.
I don't think it's. Yeah, I don't think this country necessarily will ever be completely in the clear. Because we have such we have race issues, we have ideology issues, we have people weaponizing religion. So, like, I don't think it'll ever get to a place where people can just be cordial in politics. I think it's always going to be messy and ugly, but the fact that people are so blindly supporting Donald Trump it's a cult. The difference between Trump supporters and people who voted for Biden, like, I'm questioning Biden. I'm questioning his cabinet picks. Mm-hmm. I question Kamala Harris. I question their track records. I don't blindly just be like, oh my God, I totally stand them. Like, don't stand politicians, anyone. You can like politicians, but, like, don't do that. That's gross.
Kyle Parker.
If you want to stand, you know what? No, because I'm a politician.
Right. Okay, so that was.
I'm the queen of the couch.
Exactly. That was just part one of our crazy news headlines, and that was just
right.
The election. And I'm sure you all didn't want to relive through that, but that was just the past 30 days, you guys, of what we've.
Yeah, thanks, Josh.
Yeah, I know. But we're going to do it again.
Had to relive that nightmare. We're going to do it again, but this time, not the election. This time we're doing COVID news. Cover your mouth. Wear a mask. But the news is coming at such a high speed, it kind of is like another, can you keep up?
Yeah, I was going to say,
moment.
If you went on like this weird self-quarantine retreat where you just turned your phone off for like a week, and you came back and you hear all these updates, you'd be like, what the fuck is happening?
First of all, privilege. Who does that? But
right. Oh, there's so many influencers out there who just like, I need.
Oh, I know.
Okay, so now we're going to go back to early November again. A North Dakota Republican died of COVID-19 in October, yet he still won his election. And that was reported on election night through the Washington Post.
They're voting for corpses.
Right? Like that.
Which is, I mean, to be fair, there's a lot of Republicans that look like corpses that are in government.
Mitch McConnell's hands? Like, what is that?
Oh, that is, people are like, oh, it's a bruise. I'm like, the bitch is rotted.
I was just like,
Gutted.
got it. Gila monster.
Gila monster. I think that's rude to the Gila monsters. He is such truly a despicable human being.
Gila monster, sweetie. I'm so sorry that this bitch just.
I'm so sorry, Gila monster. I'm so sorry.
Okay.
So, I thought this wasn't going to be the political part, but I guess we got a little political there. We're going to get back into the vaccine, though, and Pfizer and BioNTech? Isn't that the Lego thing? BioNTech?
Bionic, Christina.
BioNTech? No, that's Bionicle. Bionicle. Bionicle was the Lego thing. Oh. So I was about to be like, work, Lego. You don't. Oh, were you not that butch, Josh? You don't remember playing with those?
No, I had friends.
You didn't play with. Oh, my friends had them too. I didn't play with them either. But Pfizer and Bionicle announced vaccine candidate against COVID-19 achieved success in first interim analysis from phase 3 study, and that was November 9th.
Can I just say?
Let me just go ahead and say it. I will never be an audiobook reader.
It says BioNTech, and Kyle's like botanical.
No, I did that on purpose.
Oh, okay. Well, it was very convincing.
Oh, acting. I was just acting. I wasn't being serious. I was trying to make a joke.
Okay. Literally, and then after, I mean, this is crazy. The world is finally seeing like the light at the end of the tunnel. Like Pfizer's just like, hey, we have a vaccine that is kind of working right now. A week later, Moderna is just like, hey, we have a vaccine too. And that was reported on November 16th through NPR. So now we have two ladies stand before me. Prior to tonight, I've asked you to create a vaccine for COVID-19.
Good luck, and don't fuck it up. And then Dolly Parton starts playing because Dolly Parton helped fund the Moderna vaccine. It began with a car crash and an unlikely friendship. What is that from? That was in the notes that Josh sent me. What's that? That's
the headline.
What?
Yeah, that's the entire headline from the Washington Post.
Dolly Parton helped fund Moderna's vaccine. It began with a car crash and an unlikely friendship. What is that? Am I missing something?
I don't know. I don't know what that meant. So
I thought you wrote that, and I was just like, is this like a joke I'm supposed to get?
No.
Okay. I should have just Googled it because I was like, oh, maybe Josh knows what it's talking about. I don't know.
But I mean, hey, Queen Dolly Parton, she somehow is saving 2020. Your fave.
Somehow. Dolly Parton, of course, is going to save society. I've been saying it for years. I love Dolly Parton with like all my heart. She's like one of my favorite people, not just celebrities. And I'm not like one of those people that's all of a sudden like, oh my God, Dolly Parton. I'm like, where have you been? If you read her 1994 autobiography, you would know that she's been about this life the entire time, which please go out. I think I've said it before, go out and read the 1994 biography. It's really good. But what's interesting about the little Dolly Parton, everyone like suddenly realizing that Dolly Parton saved the day, is back months ago, because I follow like Dolly Parton news and different things like that because I'm a big fan.
Yeah.
They report, like people were reporting like, oh, Dolly Parton sent or gave $1 million for COVID-19 research. And I was like telling people, I was like, oh my God, did you see this? Did you see this? And everyone just kind of glazed over it like, yeah, whatever. Because I think we were all in the kind of state of we're never getting out of this. Mm-hmm. And I was like, you wait. Dolly Parton, she's coming through something. Again. She's got something. Yeah. And she's coming through. She stumbled out of bed and she tumbled to the kitchen, poured herself a cup of ambition.
Ha. Okay. So the only downside of this is that because people think that there is a vaccine coming out soon, which is not necessarily how it works, but I'm not going to get into that. A lot of dumb people out there are just now thinking that the world can just go back to normal. For example, through the Washington Post again, they reported that some, but not all Republicans are finally wising up about the coronavirus. So it took them 8 fucking months, and like half their party is getting it.
Well, very much in a Republican type mindset is unless it happens to me, it's not real. Obviously, not everyone's like that, but I feel like those in power, they have a tendency to it takes them literally be like death and devastation or illness for them to go, oh yeah, no, it's real. Like think about like Ronald Reagan and Nancy Reagan in the 80s. They were like anti stem cell research until they needed to use it for Ronald Reagan's health.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then they're just like, oh, we're all on board now.
Yeah, we're on board.
Because, science, God forbid you ever trust science. Yeah,
Science is fake. Fake news.
fake news. What's not fake news is that right after that, the GOP Senator Chuck Grassley of Iowa tested positive a day later.
Do you know this person? You're from Iowa.
I do. He is actually third in line for president.
The Crown. Oh,
yeah, for the Crown. Yeah. Third in line for the Crown after Olivia Colman and Princess Diana die.
And Margaret Thatcher, which I was messaging again Ryan Kenny because he was watching The Crown, and I was like, okay, new drag name Maggie Snatcher.
I like that.
You like that? Okay.
Yeah. But anyway, if Chuck Grassley goes, there's one less Republican in succession for the office. I will say that. So.
Watch out, Grassley. Your ass is Grassley.
Mm-hmm.
So that was November 18th. November 19th, Mitch McConnell warns Republican senators to stay healthy or risk their lame duck agenda. The lame duck agenda. Was that you or was that a headline?
They're all headlines, Kyle.
So NBC News reported sorry, that's shady as fuck. NBC News reported the Republicans' lame duck agenda.
Yeah. I mean, they have these next 2 months to just do whatever the fuck they want to or block whatever they want to. And it sounds like they're all just going to get COVID and die because, 3 more White House aides test positive for coronavirus? That was the next day from NBC News. And then right after that, Donald Trump Jr. tested positive for COVID-19. I mean, they all have it. They all are just walking around a diseased group of people.
Well, the White House did just have that big, post-election. They're like, okay, if we win the election, McDonald's. If we lose the election, orgy.
Yeah.
We're all going to be making out with each other, getting down and dirty, and giving each other COVID. Which got really weird because Donald Trump, was like, hey, Melania. And she was like, get away from me.
I was going to say, between Mitch McConnell's, gangrene hand to Rudy Giuliani's melting face to...
The melting face.
Yeah. That
Mike Pence's, pink eye.
Right. I was like...
His pink eye and
the fly.
They're all rotted. They're rotting. Yeah, they're dirty. The thing is that I'm just if we want to, because Republicans love to weaponize religion. So if we want to do that, we can look at this as, remember in the book of Exodus when all the plagues were coming to Egypt and then the Pharaoh and the court, they were like, oh, none of this is real. It's not happening until it happened to them. And then they're like, get out of here. Don't do it. Republicans, you literally are doing this. Read your damn holy book, you
right?
Yeah, Bible. I'm watching a lot of Kardashians, so that's relevant. Yeah. Do you think that possibly they're actually getting COVID, or going to be getting it because the headline from November 22nd from the New York Times is Corona.
I should never let you read anything ever again on this podcast.
I Hooked on phonics. I was not good at hooked on phonics. My mom tried to do it with me. And I remember I was 7. My papa had just passed her dad. And she was like, your papa bought you hooked on phonics. So we're going to sit down and we're going to do it. But I realized it was all for naught because she was having trouble with it. So I was like,
It was actually for
Hooked on
her.
fun. It was for her, and she was like, okay, 7-year-old Kai Kai, come here, honey. But yeah, coronavirus upends Thanksgiving for many, while others ignore its warnings. And that was from November 22nd from the New York Times.
Right.
Now, Josh, I know that you're not going home for Thanksgiving.
Nope.
I'm also not going home for Thanksgiving.
Nope.
And luckily, there is such a thing as technology that we're able to FaceTime and call and see our families in other ways. Like, imagine if COVID had come during like 1987 and we were like this age now in 1987. Like that, I think that would be like, it's hard. Like, people are struggling right now, but imagine it then. We're at least blessed to have the technology that we do to keep us preoccupied and stay connected to others.
Mm-hmm. I was gonna say, we are living at a time frame where we have everything at our fingertips, so we should count our lucky stars. Like, when I think of like the 1918 flu pandemic, where there were people who were anti-maskers, people who didn't want to socially distance and things like that, and like millions of people died. I mean, we still have 250,000 deaths, but like, which is still super unfortunate. But back then, I bet people were just so desperate just to like have human interaction that's why it was up in the millions.
Yeah.
Just stay home. It's not even the sense of like, it's showing that you're not selfish, basically. Like, think of your loved ones. Think of your mom and dad who maybe be more at risk to catch coronavirus. So not only are you going to come home and expose them, but then you make them cook an entire fucking meal for you. Just a meal. What is this? I saw a screenshot of a text thread. I don't know if it's real or not, but there was like it was an interaction between a mom and a son, and it was just like the son was just like, if you want to come over for Thanksgiving, I'd love to have you still. And the mom was just like, no, we're gonna reschedule for next year. We'll just do that instead. And the son's just like, but what about your famous cranberry sauce, Mom? And the mom responds, she's like, oh, great idea. Why don't you serve it at my funeral?
Honestly, I love that, because it's just like, I was talking to my mom last night, and she said that one of her coworkers recently got COVID and have been planning to go to like get on a plane and go to see like visit her mom. I get it. Like, I live by myself. My family, besides my uncles, is not close by. So I've been very secluded most of this time. And I get wanting to see your family. I think we all understand that at this point. But my mom said that this particular coworker had gone, and my mom works remote, so like she's like just messaging with them. So my mom said that this particular coworker tested positive for COVID, and she found out that she had it because she had gone to a party, someone's birthday party a few weeks ago, where they all were hanging on each other and no one was wearing masks, and it was just a big messy mess. And yeah, she got COVID, and she's like, I feel so bad. And I'm like, imagine like explaining to your mom, like, hey, I can't come for Thanksgiving. I got COVID because I was drinking and messy at a party.
Right. Like
in my head, I'm like, if I get COVID, it's literally because I went to the grocery store. That's the only way I could get it, because I don't leave my house.
Right. I feel like the main way I could get it is because I still have to go to work and work in person.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, we are part of a hospital where a lot of sick people come in and out.
Yeah.
I can see me, but like, I don't know, like, I feel like that's more justifiable than being like, oh, I just really miss my best friend, so we just hung out the other night, and yeah, sorry, Mom.
Yeah, sorry. But I'm like,
like, what does
you'll just have to do your instant suffering. I guess we're bullies now.
Yeah, we're just like, oh,
I don't want to be a bully. Oh my God. I'm not putting that energy out there because I don't want to get it.
No,
I don't want to.
But I'm just like, I don't know where that resorted to.
No, and it's funny because I feel like this quarantine has made me very zen. Like, I feel very like anti-bullying. I was full on like, we need to bully everyone before. I'm just kidding. But Now I'm like, oh, I'm like anti-bully. Like, no, I just feel very like I'm not coming after people. Obviously, I got a little heated when we're talking about politics and stuff, but that's literally the only thing I get upset about is like politics and Republicans.
Which go hand in hand, so.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah, I guess they kind of do. Well, in my head, when I said Republicans, I meant racists. But again,
They go
same
hand in hand.
thing. Yeah, they go hand in hand.
Kyle's just like, I am totally a Zen person. And then a Republican walks by and just, no, you're
I'm like,
racist.
you're racist. You think you're so cool because you deny people health care and you hate poor people and people of color. Oh, you're going to try to control women's bodies.
Give him a wedgie.
I would not want to touch Mitch McConnell and give him a wedgie, though. I'd be so afraid he'd be going commando.
Ew. And now, onto the heart of our gay agenda, which is basically a time capsule.
You ever do those in school? Time capsules?
No, I actually legit just lost my train of thought because I was just like, I've never done one of those before.
No, I remember doing one in like 5th or 6th grade, and I don't think we ever dug it up. So somewhere in Waterford, Michigan, there is a toilet tube stuffed with like notes to myself as a grade schooler.
Yeah.
And then we put it in like a Rubbermaid, all of ours, and like dug it and put it in the ground. We never dug it up. Well, to be fair, my 5th grade teacher did pass away, so maybe he forgot.
He's right next to the time capsule.
Oh God, I hope not. Mr. D was my favorite. Something I just remembered, speaking of time capsules and remembering things, is we never did a Cheers Queers. So here's to you. Cheers Queers.
Cheers, queer.
Cheers Queers to all of our queers out there listening or watching us.
But look at this little sticker I got from my coworker. It says vote.
Oh my God, that's cute. At first I thought it was a Playboy bunny.
That too.
The like peace sign looks like a Playboy bunny, but I'm into it.
Right. All right. So what we're going to be doing today is we are going to be sharing about minute clips of past episodes of the first season. And basically we're just going to go over just how great it sounded, how bad it sounded, how embarrassing it was. And because I haven't listened to any of the previous episodes. I never listened to a single episode other than when I'm...
You've never listened to any of our episodes?
No,
really?
Only when I'm editing it down so that way.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But then after that, I never listened to it again.
I went through this phase like in the first season where I would like the first season of our show. Cause like, I don't know, we tried to do the seasons and then suddenly it just became like, oh, we're just going to keep releasing episodes. Mm-hmm. And the first season I would listen to every episode because I wanted to know what it sounded like after you got done editing them.
Yeah.
But after a while I was like, I trust Josh. Like, I don't know why I'm even trying to make sure that it's edited correctly because I was like, Josh is going to edit it correctly.
I just actually edited so that way it says like you sound problematic all throughout it because I'm just like cutting things in and out. Like,
that would probably be pretty easy because like there's always moments where like I'm making fun of something, and then you could cut it and be like, wow, Kyle just said that he's Asian because he's Caucasian.
Right. Kyle is a bully because he's going, you're racist.
Yeah, Kyle's bullying people. Oh, could you imagine?
Well, don't worry. I will do a super cut of all the problematic things that you could or could not say at some point.
It'd be so funny. I know we're gonna dive into revisiting all of the clips from season 1, but I will say that last night in my dream, I was best friends with this woman who had her entire house and the shed behind her house was for sale. Like she was like a hoarder and she had, but like it was all really cool stuff. It was like tchotchkes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So her and I were best friends and I would go over to her house and in my dream, we're sitting there and she's like, you can have whatever you want. In my dream, she gave me Birkenstock. She gave me Birkenstocks. I don't know why, but I was like, we have to look it up what it all means. But she gave me Birkenstocks, and we're sitting there and we're drinking lemonade in her shed, and she looks at me and she just goes, "You ever been canceled?" And I was like,
Very
"No, I have."
soon.
I was like, "I haven't." And it's weird because like in my dream, I thought about the podcast. I was like, "Have I said anything on the show that would make me canceled?" And I was like, "I've never been canceled." And then she took like a swig of her lemonade. She went, "Well, it's not fun." It was a weird dream. But like then she decided that she was going to uncancel herself by opening up her home to the public so that people could come shopping.
Oh. Well, I'm glad that she has the power of the narrative to uncancel herself.
It was wild. Yeah, I don't know her name, but thank you, imaginary best friend who's an old woman hoarder, for giving me Birkenstocks.
There is something to say about the people who refuse to be canceled. Like they just like keep going, like Kanye and
Trisha Paytas.
right, like they're just like, no, I'm still gonna go.
Like, no, thank
Miss
you.
Owens,
Yeah.
all right, so let's dive into it. I'm
Okay.
gonna pull up these audio clips, and obviously we'll pause in between, and we'll just react accordingly. So,
I'm excited. And audience, I don't know what Josh has chosen. So these are genuine, like I don't have anything written down on my phone or anything like that. So I don't know what Josh has chosen from our unofficial but official like season 1 of the show.
the archives.
The archives. Oh
Yeah.
boy. Okay.
All right. So actually, I'm just gonna let you know what the first one is already. It's actually
Okay.
the original intro to the show.
Oh dear God. Okay.
Yeah. All right, ready? Let's go.
Yes.
Hi, I'm Kyle,
And I'm Josh.
and we're
Fear the Queer,
a podcast that talks about everything on our gay agendas, from politics and media.
to race and relationships. So sit back, relax as we spill the tea.
Fear the queer. That was beautiful.
That was good.
I know. Thanks.
Yeah.
What were we going through that we decided that that was a good idea? What? Like, I mean, I'll.
What is this?
What fever dream was that opening number? I do remember sitting with you at your house and saying we need an opener, and I wanted to make a song. Huh?
You meant like an opening act, though, like before.
Yeah, I was like, we need an opening act, and
Yeah.
then you were like, opener? I have a wine opener. And then we just got drunk. No, I remember sitting with you and being like, oh, we need like an opening for the show, because I've been listening to all these different podcasts that had like cute little openers or like opening like little theme songs, and I was like, I think we can do that. I think we can like put something together. I know my way around some editing programs. And you're like, okay. And then we tried to do it, and then we both just got so frustrated that I was like, maybe it's more of like us just like speaking.
Yeah.
And I don't know about you. Have you watched The View lately?
No.
Like in the past couple of years? So like, have you ever watched The View?
Back when it was like 2005 to 2009, like
Okay. Were you like Star Jones The View?
No, I was still like Whoopi was still on, and Elizabeth Hasselbeck was on,
Oh, okay.
and Sherry Shepherd.
So like,
yeah.
Sherry Shepherd. Okay. So like I had watched The View off and on for my entire life. Like, especially when I was a kid living in Michigan, I'd watch that like whenever I was home from sick from school, or like during the summer, I'd watch it because it was always on at 11 o'clock on ABC Channel 7. And I think that our opener kind of became, I was thinking of The View when we were doing it, because I was like, oh, we should be like, welcome to The View. Different perspectives of different women, all giving the view. And then if you listen to it, we're like, politics and media to race and relationships.
Right.
Now sit back, relax as we spill the tea. I'm so glad that we no longer have that.
No.
Because I feel like we were literally at the end of saying spill the tea when straight people started saying spill the tea.
Yeah.
And then they started saying it, and it was like literally the next week that we started releasing episodes, and I heard a mom be like, spill the tea, like on Facebook. And I was like, what?
Right.
What?
No,
I was like, no, you can't do that. So that was I mean, we basically just have the little intro music now. We don't have anything talking. Do you miss having like a little intro?
No, actually, to be honest, I was just like, I can't believe we kept that intro in for so long, because it's an ear sore hearing us like sing off key so loudly.
You sing off key.
Sure, Jan.
You sing. You want to sing it
that,
right now?
And on that,
no, no.
Hello, listeners, and thank you for tuning in to the very first episode of Fear the Queer.
So we want to talk about why we are doing a podcast. And honestly, it is because we don't have funds for a web series.
Also, as members of the LGBTQ community and politically minded media obsessed millennials, we also felt that a podcast was the best way to express our thoughts and feelings about literally everything.
I think it's an easy transition when we talk about politics. How often do we talk about politics?
Every day.
I think I bring it up. I yell about it every single day.
Can you believe?
There was a day that at my office job, the cleaning guy came in. It was Friday. It was like 2 weeks ago. And he was like, he comes in, looks me dead in the eye, and he just goes, fuck Trump. And I was like, yeah, fuck Trump. You know, like, you got it. So we start talking, and he goes, you know, you should run for political office. And I was like, oh, yeah. And he's like, no, I'm serious. And Josh literally has glazed over eyes. So I instead went on and I looked up how much a microphone was and how to record a podcast. And here we are. So, you know, it's the equivalent of...
Actually, I was paid $20 to do this, but whatever.
And I'll Venmo him later.
Wow.
How do you feel about hearing our first intro?
You know what's kind of cute about it is that
What?
is that even though like it was only 2 years ago, like
yeah.
One, quarantine I feel like has added 5 years to our lives. But it's
Speak for yourself.
Right? But it just feels like I'm listening to like just a baby gay talking. I don't know.
You kind of were.
Yeah, I think I was in a way.
You had only been out for like 3 years. Well, like out.
Dates.
Huh?
You know the exact dates.
Yeah, because you came out in 2015, and well, it was like 2015-ish, because like you were like starting to come out to like certain people and certain friends, but you were still like kind of in the closet. And I'm sure like you would go to Iowa and you were like in the closet, and then you like weren't in the closet. And we talk about that. We talk about our coming out stories in the episode, right?
Yeah.
That's what episode 1 is, right?
That's what episode 1 is. It's like, that actually kind of was like my that actually was a lot of my coming out story to a lot of people who I just never told. I was just like, hey, listen to the podcast and you'll hear some things. Here's some things.
Here's some things. Yeah. I think it's funny because the similarity that I just talk too much is the same.
Yeah.
I still talk too much. I think it's funny that we have like, we sound so cheesy, because I remember you and I sitting there and kind of practicing, because I was like, I want it to sound natural.
Right.
And you're like, I can laugh naturally, don't worry. And I was like, okay. And then hearing it back, I was like, we sound so cheesy.
I was like, we sound so forced, like, hee hee.
like
Right.
I will say that I remember the first episode, I told Josh, I was like, I'm going to edit it. Like, I have a very specific idea of how I want it to be edited. And like little sound bits, like when you hear like, can you believe? By Jonathan Van Ness. I was like, I have a very specific idea of like little sound clips and things like that. And then I did, and then I sent it to Josh, and then Josh was like, okay, posted it. And literally the next episode, Josh was like, I think I'm going to take over on the editing. And I was like, all right, well, I mean, everyone brings something different to the table.
Yes. No, I
We
do.
can't,
I do appreciate that you were the first editor of the podcast. You can kind of tell throughout.
like it's funny because it's also funny because we thought we needed like background noise, and by we I mean I think I said we need background noise because I didn't want it to feel like empty space when we weren't speaking. Like imagine if we just stopped talking right now, just like I did not want that to happen. So I was like, well, at least if we stop talking, it would just be like boom, boom, boom,
Right.
boom,
Which is,
boom,
in
boom,
hindsight, I feel like
I
the
don't know.
most distracting thing to listen, like when you're listening to a podcast.
It is a little bit, but in my head, I was like, well, we're never going to be boring.
That's true, which we never are. All right.
I mean, bad, yeah, but it's better to be bad than boring. That's my golden rule.
Exactly. Well, thank you, listeners, for tuning in to our very first episode. If you'd like to listen more, feel free to subscribe to our podcast on SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, or subscribe to our YouTube channel.
And you can find us literally on all social media platforms at Fear the Queer Podcast. Or if you want to send us some emails, any ideas for shows, or hate mail, it's fearthequeerpodcast@gmail.com.
Please don't send hate mail. I'm very sensitive. But if you actually have any questions or any commentary about your own coming out story, feel free to reach out to us because we'll give you a shout out in the next episode.
Yeah, and I would love to hear too.
Yes.
All right, well, I'm Kyle.
I'm Josh.
And you've listened to
Fear the Queer.
Bye,
Queens. Okay, so the one thing I had to comment about that is like I thought we just created our YouTube channel like a couple months ago. When did we have a YouTube channel back then?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't remember that. I remember when we were setting up all the different like social media accounts. I was like, okay, we have Facebook, we have Instagram, we have Twitter, which we do have a Twitter. I've only posted like one thing. It's just I don't know. I'm not. I have my own Twitter. I don't go on Fear the Queer's Twitter. I don't think it would be very exciting. It's just it's like not the
it's not the
the
platform
base for it. Yeah, it's not the platform. Thank you.
Yeah.
Kind of funny. I still don't email us because I don't remember the last time we've checked that
I
email.
don't think I've opened that email account in like a year.
I think we opened it to set up our SoundCloud.
Yeah.
So like we really haven't used it. What else is funny? I do encourage to send hate. Like, please send us hate mail.
Yeah. I feel like at this point we're just like,
thumbs down that.
yeah, I was like, I think at this point we can handle it. We're just like, oh, actually, say what you have to say, sis.
Say what you need to say.
I also like to end it with "Bye Queens."
I said bye. You said bye, Queens.
Did I?
You did.
Oh, well, I'm glad we dropped that on the very first episode.
It was funny because I remember I was like, we'll just say like bye, and we start going like bye Queens, and I was like, what? Sure. I mean, yeah. Why not? I also think it's funny too because I'm like, yeah, send us your coming out stories, and please, I don't give a fuck. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I just had to say that because I was like, that's gonna be funny. Josh is going to like cut this together and be like, cancel him now.
Paul doesn't care about your coming out.
No, I do. Please, like, live your life.
I'm sure someone actually did send their coming out story to our email, and we just never responded to it. So sorry.
They're like, please, I need to tell you. No, I do care about people. I mean, I don't think people should feel like they have to come out. Like that's not the thing. I don't think people should ever feel forced to come out. But if and when they want to, like that's cool. Like I mean, I care. I did a whole drag performance about like coming out with like the Rainbow Connection Kermit the Frog here. And so I do care. I do care that little gabies and little queerdos all feel very like comfortable in their skin and who they are.
Right.
Uh,
I can't remember what show it is, but this reminds me of like I can't remember what show it is. It's like, oh, please don't tell me you're coming out to me. Oh, why does everyone come out to me?
that's really funny because I feel like everyone does come out to me. Like every.
I don't know how
like,
to respond to that, so yeah.
wait, I mean, you were someone who came out to me.
I was.
Yeah.
I also feel like I've experienced people come out to you and I just happen to be there. I'm just like, oh.
they're like, hey Kyle, I need to talk to you, and we're talking, and Josh, you're just like around the corner, like,
Like I'm just like in the background, like holding something, like.
I feel like that has come out. That has happened when we worked together bartending. Like people maybe not coming out like in a queerness wise, but maybe like telling secrets. And I feel like you'd always be like behind the corner, just kind of like, interesting.
Just
and
like,
I'm
like popcorn barrels, just like
yes. Like, and I'm like, Josh, no. I think it's funny that you're like, please don't send hate. I'm sensitive. And I'm like, it's funny because I feel like you're not as sensitive as you were 2 years ago. I think you've toughened up quite a bit. I think I've gotten more sensitive, actually.
I was like, I think our roles have reversed. Like, you become very sensitive, not in a bad way, but like,
yeah,
you cry
actually good for me. Yeah. Like I think that I've softened quite a bit.
Your goal for 2020.
It was my goal for 2020, and my goal for 2020 was to be softer and supple. So yeah, okay. I think I've achieved that.
You have. All right, let's go on to the next one.
Okay, is this
representation for queer people? I think is always a trying process. Actually, in 2007, I looked this up. So you know GLAAD?
Yeah.
Okay, so GLAAD was founded about
30
years. You know GLAAD? Don't be mad. Get GLAAD. It was founded in 1985, and for the past couple decades, they have been tracking the representation of LGBTQ plus characters on television. So I was looking that up, and in 2017, out of 900 reoccurring characters, only 7% identified as within the LGBTQ umbrella, and most of them were gay white men. So let me apologize now for my people.
Which, interestingly enough, like, we are always being told that, like, this is the golden age of television, and then this is, like, where everything is really hot right now, is everything's on TV, and that's where everything's thriving, and yet we still have only, 7%, you said?
Yeah, only 7% identified to be LGBTQ.
That's not enough.
And it's not enough. And, like, there were so many lesbian and bisexual characters, and in the study, they said that they kept getting killed off. Talk about a bi eraser, am I right, ladies?
I was gonna cut it off. I was gonna cut it off sooner, but I was just like, oh, there's a joke at the end. I can't not include that.
You know me, I love a little joke. I like so cheesy. It's as we're talking about the notes, and we're like in 2017. I'm like, oh my god, that was so long ago. And then I realized, oh, this episode came out in 2018. So like, yeah. I also like that we're talking like, oh yeah, GLAAD. Do you know GLAAD?
Right.
Like, and you laugh at me. Like, yeah, you should laugh at me. That's a stupid ass question to ask. Like, we're a queer podcast. Do I know GLAAD?
You know GLAAD. I was just like, I'm pretty sure when I was straight, I knew what GLAAD was. I think the reason why I included that clip specifically is because I will say, I feel like in these past few years, like, television is still kind of exploding with queer representation.
Yeah.
I mean, we're in quarantine, so like all we do is watch TV, you know. I watched Euphoria, which came out last year, and
I need to watch that.
So good, you would love it. And then I also watched the Mindy Kaling show.
Yeah.
Never Have I Ever. Euphoria has a transgender teen girl as one of the leading roles, and she doesn't die.
Hunter Schafer, right?
Yeah. Spoiler, she doesn't die. And then Never Have I Ever, one of the lead characters is a queer female. So it's just like, I feel like we're getting the ball rolling there on representation and inclusivity, and I'm really happy about that. I mean, sure, we have a long way to go still, but I think it's still way better than what it was 3 years ago.
Oh dear God, yeah. I mean, like, seriously, I remember us, like, we talked a lot, I remember, about like Queer Eye whether it's on the podcast or not, we talk about Queer Eye and like Ellen DeGeneres,
Mm-hmm.
like as if they were like the only. I mean, they weren't the only things, but now it feels like, I don't know. There is more representation, not just queer representation, but like Black representation, women leading like in TV shows where it's not all about them being a woman, or it's not all about them being Black or Asian or
It just so
gay.
happens
Like
that
it's
they are. Yeah.
right. And now we're in kind of like this weird, media is kind of catching up, because you think about it, and now there's like multiple gay holiday movies this
Oh my
year.
god. So AJ and I were talking about we want to watch our gay holiday movies this year. Or no, we're just talking about holiday movies in general, what we want to watch. And we're just like,
Yeah.
Hallmark has that one with Jonathan Bennett. And we're just like, okay, cool, we'll add that to the list. And then we realized there's the Hulu movie with Kristen Stewart that is also the gay holiday
And
movie.
Daniel Levy.
And Dan Levy. And then there's also one with Annie McDowell for
Yep.
I think Paramount that's coming out soon. So we added that. That's the third one. And then finally there's a Lifetime movie with Fran Drescher, who and she's like the mom of like a gay son. So there's now 4 gay holiday movies added to the roster for this year alone, which
They all look super cheesy.
they all look terrible, but I'm super
Yeah.
excited for all of them.
Yeah, it's not I mean, it's funny because like you can tell that most of the storyline is about like it's about their queerness and like dealing with family, and oh my god. But I mean, why not? Like people actually deal with that shit.
Yeah. I mean, you were talking about like just allow like groups of people, whether it be like Black-led movies, queer-led movies, like why can't we just have mediocre movies that people just
Yep.
to be in? Like
I say that all the time. Like give us just like mediocre movies, just make them really representative of the world we live in.
yeah, and there
Why
are some
not?
people who struggle with coming out with their family, especially like I'm thinking of like people in red states who might have family who are still conservative. And I still think it's
I mean,
relevant.
hell, people in blue states, there's people who are super conservative that they can't fully be who they are.
Mhm.
So yeah, why not have cheesy representation? But I feel like we are getting the ball is rolling. They're catching up.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
happening.
It's happening. All right, next one. So obviously, we've just been rambling for the past 5 minutes about the problems with representation, and now basically the point of this episode is, hypothetically, if we lived in a perfect world, how would we see it if we were perfectly represented?
Right, like where would I like to see myself represented on TV and in movies?
Mm-hmm. And since considering this is a podcast and maybe people don't know, I identify myself as a gay Asian twink / jock, like that slides in between the scale of that.
Yeah, definitely it's a sliding scale at the Fear the Queer
Yeah.
podcasting.
Yeah.
I identify as gay / queer. I really like, I think the queer moniker fits much better for me. I'm a gay, queer mayo jar of happiness.
Yeah.
So, kind of like femme queen. I'm like, you know what? I'm a soft butch queen.
Yeah, I would say
Soft
so.
butch queen.
Yeah.
I think so. Like, I'll put on some eyeshadow and go dancing, but I'm also going to wear sweatpants and a flannel to go to the grocery store.
Oh. I'm soft this year.
Currently, I'm wearing. I tried to show it in the camera. I'm currently wearing sweatpants
And a flannel.
and a flannel. Yeah. So some things don't change.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
But I have my nail polish on, so you know.
I was gonna say, do you still identify as what you said 2 years ago?
I think I drop the gay more and more. I think it's funny because like I'll say gay, but I mean like when I say gay, I mean LGBTQ plus or queer. So I'll be like, oh, gay people. But like I mean like in an encompassing sense, not like gay men necessarily.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like personally, I definitely am like queer sexuality, queer gender. Like it's very that. But I don't think I'm a mayo jar anymore. I think I identify as like a queer cupcake.
I was gonna say
Like,
there's been a change. You're not a mayo jar. I don't think that really describes you anymore.
no, I think I'm a cupcake. I think I'm soft and delicious and
Right.
I'm great served at a party.
Yeah.
And I love to decorate myself. But if you scrape the frosting off, I'm still great.
That's true. Yeah.
Oh my god, that's such a sweet little like I didn't plan that. That was kind of sweet.
That's like on your dating profile. It's just like that long explanation. I'm a
It should be, yeah. I mean, why not?
yeah.
That's cute. How about you? Do you still describe yourself as, what did you say, a twink and
Yeah,
a jock?
I said in between a twink and a jock, which I mean, granted, I guess no, I don't actually. Like
Oh,
I was like, yeah, I work out, but like I don't consider myself a jock or a twink. I feel like I'm too old to be considered that now. Um,
you're too old to be considered a twink?
I'm just joking. I have a young coworker who's like 22, 23, and he makes fun of me all the time because I don't know how to use TikTok properly sometimes. And
Well,
so
that is funny.
so I'm just like, you know what? I don't even know what I describe myself as now. I guess gay is still relevant.
You're like
Asian,
a Weight Watchers couch potato.
yeah. And that's okay.
I mean, did you just say I'm still Asian?
I'm still Asian, don't worry.
Did you say that? Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think. Yeah, I never think of you as like a twink unless we go out and like go dancing and stuff like that, because it's like,
That's
oh,
because my height comes into play with other people.
yeah. It's like, oh, you're like thin and like and petite.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, but I mean, otherwise, I mean, yeah, it's all how you identify.
Well, it's weird because I'm just like the older I'm getting, I feel like the less I care about even like why do I need to identify as one thing? Like I'm just
Right.
like labels, who cares?
Yeah, this is a label for you. A little high heel that I was kicking around on my foot. I literally am sitting here and I kicked my foot out and I hit something underneath the coffee table,
Uh-huh.
and it was this high heel.
I
So
hear-
like I truly feel like I'm just a queer cupcake.
Exactly. That's perfect. All right.
Yeah.
I would say, all right, so if I was going to an award,
Sorry, that started playing way faster than I meant it to. um we'll just back that up here. Anyway, did you have any other thoughts before I went to the next clip?
No, I think I'm good. I will agree with you though, that I think the older you get, the less you care about like labels.
Yeah. Like
So it's like I don't really care about labels that much. I still think that queer is a better label for me.
mhm.
Because it is just so like encompassing. I feel like it's easier to just be like, oh, I'm queer. And especially now that I have started to like dabble in drag and stuff like that, and really don't care how I present in different situations. I'm
Mhm.
just kind of like, yeah, it's just easier. Because if you're like, oh, you're gay, people outside the community have a certain
Connotation behind it.
connotation. Yeah, definitely. And don't worry about being old.
I don't, because I still have you around. Don't worry.
Only by numbers.
All right, on to the next one.
Okay.
I would say, all right, so if I was going to win an award, first of all, if I was even nominated for an award for Best Actor, I'd be like, thank you for the nomination. I wish that there weren't binaries for what an actor and actress would be, and that I could just be nominated for the talents that I am. And then everyone would be like, whoa, shut up. Like, and then I would like lose out to Meryl Streep, who would also be nominated in the actor category.
In the same performance.
In the same performance.
Yeah.
They're like, oh my god, there was two.
Or what if she was playing you in a movie?
If Meryl would win.
Yeah.
My life is boring, but she'd make it interesting.
Right.
She'd be like riding the train, and she'd see like a hot guy come on and
Like imagine if you auditioned for yourself for a movie and you lost to Meryl Streep.
I don't even. That would obviously happen. Like, I'm not even going to argue that Meryl Streep would like snatched. I'm done.
Right.
I'm not like I wouldn't win. But if it was like an original concept,
Mhm.
I feel like it would be about some person struggling with mental health. It'd probably be someone who is fat or like at least like overweight. I'd want to play a character who like doesn't define necessarily their gender within the binary, because I think that like that is something that needs to be seen in media. And you know what? Let's make it on Mars.
Okay.
Let's make it set in the future, because like Lord knows North Korea is going to bomb us, and we're going to Mars.
I don't know where the Mars part came in, but I agree with mostly everything.
Yeah, I don't disagree with like anything necessarily said. I do think it's so funny that I'm like, I'd want to play someone who is struggling with mental health, because like it immediately, 2 years later now, I'm just like, wow, that's dark. Like, calm down, Kyle. Like, Jesus Christ. But maybe I was like in a darker place 2 years ago.
I mean, my old apartment didn't have as good as lighting, so it probably was literally darker.
Oh my God. I thought you were going to talk about how that one time with the haunting in your apartment.
No, that was more of like the Halloween episode that we talked about, which we'll get to a second here. But
look at you doing a little transition.
Right?
Oh my God.
But I will say, I think it is cute how we were talking about like queer representation just a little bit ago, of just like, oh, I don't really identify as like, I don't like to put labels on things and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
2 years ago.
I'm still like that. I feel like labels, just not, I don't know. They're just like meh.
Right. Who cares? Like, we have
I feel like sometimes if you label something, like if you label yourself a certain way, which is fine, you have every right to do that. Then if you start talking to someone, it raises more questions. And then you feel sometimes like you have to answer them. Like, especially when it comes to like sexuality, I feel like saying queer is less like of that binary of like, what is my hair doing? It's gotten so long. What is happening? I don't.
No, yeah, it's just like, I feel like it kind of puts an idea of who you are as a person when it's like that's just a part of you. And
yeah, because then
I don't know.
I don't know. It's funny because I feel like we have the whole like Fear the Queer, and like that's like the podcast where we talk about everything like the heart of the gay agenda and stuff like that. But at the same time, I'm like, I feel like we've become so much more than just talking about like queer media or representation and politics even. Like we've expanded past that. We talk about really important things now, like the Disney Princess rankings.
Hey, that is very important. Okay, like
I saw your brain go, what?
I was thrown off. I will say that was really good. But yeah, I agree. I feel like the show itself has reflected just how much we don't care about stuff like that as much. Not saying it's not important, but it's just like we have more things to talk about than just these little placeholders that we have.
You heard it here first. Josh Bonney says that if you're queer, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't. It does not matter. I don't even know what I'm trying to say here. But I will say, we're going to transition into our ooky spooky Halloween episode, which if you notice in the background, we changed the background music to something a little spookier.
I don't remember this.
I do.
There was another time that was, I don't want to say triggering, but it's the epitome of me on Halloween. So I was like 12, and my mom made me into Sylvester the cat, and she made the mask, but she cut the eye holes too far apart, so I was only having like half vision. And my dad, sister, and I went out trick-or-treating, and I like fell in a ditch. And my dad and sister just kept walking. They left me there because I couldn't see out of the eye holes.
Oh my god.
So I just lied there. Candy
just lied in a ditch.
I lied in a ditch. Candy strewn across my forehead. And it was like a halo of candy. Yeah. And I just lied there. And I kept thinking like, dear God, take me now. Like, this is the worst ever. And finally my dad came back and he's like, what the hell are you doing? Why are you just lying
so
here?
Dramatic.
And they were like, we went to multiple houses and you were just lying here with your candy. And I'm like, okay, well, Mom messed up the eye holes. And we ended up going back to Granny's, and she was like, all right, put on Hocus Pocus, let's watch some TV.
So somehow, yet again, you had a traumatic experience as a kid doing like the most simple thing.
I feel like I always have traumatic experiences, and I can't help it.
Do you agree with that?
That I always have traumatic experiences?
Yeah.
Kind of. It's funny to hear me 2 years ago. Because I feel like I sound like I was going through something. Like, I think I had a very specific idea of who I was.
Mm-hmm.
And how people perceived me, maybe. Like, I was like, oh, I'm like the self-deprecating person who, like, always has so much, like... Huh?
I'm Hot Mess Express.
Yeah, I was like, oh my God, I'm such a hot mess. I always have like this trauma happening in my life. I can't get my shit together. And now I'm kind of like, maybe that is true. I don't know. I was like, I've grown as a person, but maybe that is just true. Maybe the difference is that I just don't care anymore. Like, I don't care that like, I like something always happens to me. There's always some kind of like trauma that I'm triggered by. It's just kind of like, yeah, that happened.
Yeah.
I fell in a ditch on Halloween because the eye holes of my mask were cut wrong and my candy fell everywhere and my dad got angry and we had to go back to my grandma's house. Like, yeah, that definitely happened. But now I'm like, but it was funny though. Like,
Mhm.
I feel like before I was like, woe is me. Look how sad that is. And
Yeah.
I'm like, that's funny.
Right.
Like that shit is funny.
Right. Like, I think like now you would just say it with more like finesse. It's just like, okay, do you want to hear some funny shit? Like,
Yeah. Like less of like, oh my God, I'm such a klutz.
right.
Which
Like,
I mean, like I am. Like I am a klutz. But like, I don't know.
yeah.
I'm more than just a klutz.
I don't like to label myself. All right. Next one. I told you about the story about how we did the Ouija board here one night, right?
You can't do it in the house, you have to take it outside.
Which I did not realize you can't do it in the house.
See, I'm all about that like spiritual ooky spooky ghost shit.
Mhm.
And I'm like, okay, this is what you're gonna do because you're gonna open a portal to hell.
Which I'm fine
And
with.
no, there should be no openings anywhere near you. Because if there's an opening near you, Lord knows you're gonna try to insert something. But you're like, possess me, daddy. Like, no, I'm not about that life.
Well, I did have that sex dream, remember?
Oh God.
Yeah,
you told me about that.
Yeah.
I prayed for you.
I had a sex dream one night where this black figure entered my room and just kind of just forced himself onto me. But I was really enjoying it.
Was it consensual? Like
Yeah.
in the dream? Then that's not, you know.
Well, I mean, he forced himself upon me.
And you were like, oh, hello. See, and after that, I thought, Josh needs to go to church. We need to
The
get
Church
him
of
to...
Satan.
No!
Find a compatible lover.
No! Oh my God, instead of Christian mingle, it's demon mingle.
Demon mingle.
Oh my God.
Oh,
See,
I would make such a hit off of that.
I do not play with that shit, because I'm like, the demons, the ghosts, the world we cannot see is gonna come and get you.
But it's,
I will say,
it was such a good dream.
Did you wake up stuck to your sheets?
What?
Do you
What?
understand? Do you understand that comment now, Josh?
No, I do now. But like, I just love back then. Like, I just, for whatever reason, kept that in. I was just like genuinely like, what?
You're like, what? Stuck to my sheets? What does that mean?
What?
You're like, sex?
Yeah.
What do you mean? What is that? I don't know.
I kind of agree with you in a lot of ways. Like, back then I used to try to make such a big deal about that story of just like how funny and crazy that is. Like, I had a dream about a sex demon. And now it's just like, oh, yeah, okay.
That is terrifying.
Okay,
that
maybe it is a little weird.
Scary.
I still,
Hey.
still very much remember that dream very vividly.
What do you tell AJ? What do you tell him? Do you tell him go and put Satan costume on?
Right.
We're not having sexy time unless the Satan costume's on, and then you can bring out your pitchfork.
Right. Like, you know, like the episode of Friends where like Ross has the Princess Leia fantasy. Like, mine is just like
Yes.
Josh and a demon fantasy.
Oh my God. I wonder what. Okay, so is your fantasy like a demon fantasy.
I guess. I just think
Uh,
adding that element of like the unknown and danger was kind of hot because I didn't know what this figure was. I didn't know what he wanted from me. Um,
That legit freaked me out. I was like, you know what? There's not a lot from my like Lutheran upbringing that I stick with in my adult life, but I will say even now, I love the ooky spooky like ghosty stuff. I think actually I'm a little bit more open to it now than I was.
to do a Ouija board. Can we play with a Ouija board?
Uh Probably not. I don't fuck with that. But I will say I was right. You can't do it in the house. You that like because you're gonna open a portal, and also when you played with the Ouija board, you said you did not close that.
No, I didn't know you had to.
You hate closing things. You're always like legs spread open, like
Opportunity
I just
to welcome.
it is. I also love that we both are laughing so hard at the absurdity of it.
I will say I'm kind of happy that we've developed some editing skills where we lowered the volume on things because if you're listening with your headphones and you hear our cackling like burst your eardrums,
Yeah.
my God.
I've actually I had people be like, I was listening to the podcast, but you guys laughed so loud that I can't listen to you.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm sorry that I make Josh laugh.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry that I laugh at myself.
Well, now we have little mufflers, so it's okay.
Yeah, we have muffs.
Yeah. All right.
We muffle.
We muffle. Next one.
You want to go as something scary this year for Halloween? How about fucking the GOP? How about Donald Trump? You know what? Actually, don't give any of those motherfuckers any more credit than they're due. I don't want to see... If I see a Judge Kavanaugh costume, I'm gonna punch you in the fucking genitals. I'm not joking. I am so done with that. And I don't care if I'm ranting right now, because the thing is that these people are ruining our lives. They're ruining Josh and my lives. So if you support them in any way, which or form, don't listen to this podcast. It ain't for you, boo.
Yeah.
Boo, ghost.
Boo.
Anyways, so that would be the scariest costume, would be any Republican congressperson. But if I see you dressed as them, I will come for you.
Ooh.
Ooky, spooky, kooky,
Ooky,
and creepy.
spooky,
Ooky, kooky, and creepy.
So I will say, I like how even 2 years ago you would bully people.
I only bully people who are bullies.
Yeah.
The GOP is a bully.
I'm gonna kick you in the genitals, man. Ugh.
I did not say I was going to kick them in the genitals. I said I was going to punch them in the genitals.
Fair enough.
I feel and still I still stick by that. It is terrifying. The GOP.
Yeah.
I mean, at this point, most of them are zombies, so they're like the living dead.
Right. I was gonna say, like, we're also not only living through like potential Nazi Germany, but also Night of the Living Dead with like all these gross congressmen. All right.
I also like that I'm like sorry that I'm ranting, and that's what the podcast is
I was like, that's all we do.
yeah, it is like us ranting.
Yeah. We weren't aware of how much we ranted at that point, I don't think.
I think we pretended like, oh, having a podcast, we have to have it be like the set structure of this is what we talk about, this is what we can talk about, this is how we can perceive each other, this is how we can joke. And now it's kind of like, no, we're just having a conversation. Mm-hmm. We are to not to like harp back to The View from a little bit earlier, but like we're like the gay The View.
Exactly. Though I will say, well, no, actually, I was gonna say, I think it's interesting because I feel like at the very beginning of season 1, we've had a lot of people comment on our stuff and kind of like repost things and share and stuff like that. And that has died down over the while. But I think it's
the
just
hype.
Yeah, I think it's just because the hype kind of ended and now people are really used to actually listening to us. Because I keep hearing random people who I didn't think listened to the podcast like, oh, I love that episode, by the way. I watched you and Kyle or something like that. It's like, really?
No one ever says that to me.
You don't leave your house.
We can't. It's COVID.
No. You're just like out the window, just like, anyone fear the queer?
Anyone going to tell me that they love me? No? Okay. Sounds like Grinder. Okay.
Right. Typical Leo moment. Ooh,
Typical.
speaking of which,
What?
the next episode is about the astrology. Man,
Oh, very good. You have gotten so good at transitions.
thank you.
This is so good. Like, I remember like 2 years ago. What'd you say? Switching up positions. Do you just Ariana Grande me?
I did. All right.
I appreciate that.
So now we're going to get into our astrology episode. All right, so we're going to do the next element, which is Gemini, the air sign.
Oh boy.
Yeah. So Geminis, I feel like, have a very bad reputation because people think like they're two-faced. They can't ever really like commit to anything. But I actually really love Geminis. I think they're super underrated. They're social butterflies. You can literally talk to them about anything under the sun, and they're fun.
Yes.
Regardless of anything, they're a lot of fun. And like as a fire sign, like me and Kyle, like we like to people who we have to like almost chase.
The cardinal sin is to be boring, and let me tell you, Geminis are never boring.
No, Geminis
crazy maybe, but
sure,
boring.
But I'd rather have crazy than boring.
Oh my god, I literally say all the time, it's better to be bad than boring.
Right.
Yeah.
And so my anthem for the Gemini season is by the one and only Destiny's Child. Can you guess?
No, at first I was like, is it Survivor? Because I've had to survive a few people that I've dated that are Geminis, but no, that's not shade. No. I think they're, like, literally they're good people.
Yeah.
I can't handle it.
No.
Who is it? What is it?
Lose My Breath.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Can you keep up, baby boy? Make me lose my breath. I feel like Geminis are just like
they're running.
They're constantly
on the go.
Yeah, they're just like, I want to do this. I'm gonna have fun. Like, you better keep up with me, or I'm gonna leave you behind. Bye, bitch. I don't care.
Which is like what happened to me when I date them. I can't keep up.
So can I just say, I like how Destiny's Child, Lose My Breath, has now come full circle to now like.
Full circle with this episode.
Right.
Also, I did not realize that you were going to play a clip of me saying it's better to be bad than boring, when literally I said that just a little bit ago in this episode.
To be fair, I don't think that's really full circle, because I'm pretty sure you say that in almost every episode.
I'm just saying that the amount of consistency I have as a human being is...
It's phenomenal.
Stop. Say it again. No, I'm just kidding.
Right.
That's funny. I still stick by that. I still think Geminis are crazy.
They are. But I will stick by the fact that I still really enjoy their company.
I think they're fun.
Yeah.
I also, it's almost like I jinxed it, because when I said like, oh, I've dated Geminis, like I had dated a handful of Geminis. And I also think I was being too nice when I said like, no, they are good people. Fuck that. No, there was a couple of bad ones in there.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, like, can you bleep things?
Yeah.
So there was this one named Edwin, and he was like the little hipster guy, and he had like a nose ring and gauges, and I was like really into him, because you know me, I love like a broken, like artsy fartsy kid, and he was a little bit older than me, and he was a Gemini, and he's fucking nuts. Like, he is a crazy person. And so in that, when I'm like, no, Geminis, the ones I dated were actually really nice. No, like one of them was nice.
Yeah.
Like there was not the first one. He was crazy too. He asked me to come to a park with him downtown to hang out one time. And I said, no, I'm not into that. And it was like 11 at night, because he was like a student at Columbia. And he was like, oh, I'm downtown. And I'm like, well, I'm on the north side. Like, I'm not going downtown
to hang out
to a park in the middle of the night. And I was 21, he was 19, so like there was like I couldn't like go to a bar with him.
Oh yeah.
So he just like wanted to go like drink in the park. So crazy person. Second person, super nice. Like he was a Gemini. I don't have any qualms about him. But third Gemini I dated, and also this was all in a row. Like there was no like in between people I had dated.
3 Geminis in a row.
Yes.
Girl.
And from like the age of like 21 to like 22, maybe 23, the third Gemini is the crazy artsy fartsy one. He's a crazy, he was not stable. And he, I mean, I think I've talked about it on the podcast. I twisted my ankle at one of his parties that he had.
Mm-hmm.
My friend tried to do a seance at his house. I guess that makes me the crazy one in this. No, but he was cuckoo. He's the one that like ghosted me,
Oh,
and
yeah.
he ghosted me, and then months later he was like, hey, how's it going? And I was like, fuck you, you ghosted me, like why should I talk to you? And he's like, sorry, my great aunt died and I couldn't process it. And I was just like, well, we had been dating for like a month. You could have been like, hey, my great aunt died, I'm like not doing well mentally. And I would have been like, oh, because I'm a very comforting person, I swear. But he didn't do that, so like why would I give my time back to him? And he's the one that he brought a cupcake
Yeah.
to a date when I said, okay, like at that point we had like made up and we were just friends. And then he brought a cupcake asking to be my Valentine, and I was like, fuck off, like I told you we're not doing this. So yeah, Geminis.
Insane.
One of the Geminis that I dated was good.
Yeah.
The other two were insane. But as friends, I like them as friends. They're nice.
And if you want to listen to that full story, listen to our Tainted Love episode where Cal talks more about that cupcake guy.
Yeah. That's right. I do that.
I remember. All right.
There you go.
Next one.
Okay.
All right, on to the next one.
So the next is Libra.
Libra, which we just got finished with. Libra season.
We did.
Yes.
We just finished Libra season. And
Hope y'all survive.
I like Libras. I mean, I like Libras enough that I have had long-term relationships with Libra.
Okay.
You know this.
I do, yes.
And Josh,
Yes.
Josh has a lot of opinions about Libra.
Yes, I do.
But what I love about Libra is they're very balanced. They're very flirtatious. They're charming.
Diplomatic.
They're diplomatic.
Yeah.
They're totally about the scales. But they also love to have fun.
Yes.
They're very much like Leos and Libras totally get along.
Oh, I can see that.
Yeah, like
Life of the parties.
Life of the party. When I've dated Libras, they've always been able to like just talk to anyone. And sometimes I'm really shy or have social anxiety, so I appreciate that. So
what'd you choose?
okay, I chose Dancing Queen by ABBA.
Oh.
I will say I love ABBA, so of course I'm gonna choose. I had to choose one ABBA song.
Yeah.
I also
Oh, of course.
I only know like 3 musical artists.
Yeah.
But I love ABBA, and here's the thing about Dancing Queen. One, every Libra.
Do, 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 do. That's mine.
That's your ABBA?
That's my ABBA.
Oh, girl.
Copyright infringement.
I don't think they're gonna call you on that. I think they're kind of like, can you get that filth out of your mouth?
Right.
What was that?
How dare you sing our song?
I know that I have a drink and I want to start singing, but you've had 2 sips of that rosé and you're like, do, do, do. It sounds like NPR elevator music and I live for it.
That's my version of Dancing Queen. So part of the reason why I included that is because I forget how much we drank in the early episodes.
I was just going to say, when I'm like, wow, we're really like, uninhibited. Yeah, right. we were drunk. Like now I'm like, wow, have we just like chilled out a lot? No, because like when we would record, we'd be like, okay, we're having like a cocktail first, or sometimes we would do like a shot of tequila, right? And then we would start recording while also having like a glass of wine or something. And now, I mean, especially in quarantine, like I don't drink really, which is like I'm like a social drinker, so like I tend not to drink by myself ever. Right. So that's why I've just been like sticking with my coffee, and that is so funny. Also, another thing is I still love a Libra. Still love Libras.
I was gonna say, it's interesting that we talk about you dating your Geminis, because I knew for a while that you were hung up on your Libras.
I was, yeah.
But I just Like there was one point where I think like both of us were just like slur laughing, like we're just like, oh my god, is that your?
I mean, we would have fun.
It was fun,
Yeah, it was fun.
but like
Do we not have fun anymore? Are we old now?
we'll put that up as a poll question for the audience. Be like,
Yeah, do it. Are we old now?
Are we
Like,
old?
should we drink more?
Are we the gay NPR now?
I kind of like that. I'm okay with that. I like
I was gonna
NPR.
say I'm okay too. All right, next one.
No, I think Capricorns are very hardworking. They're very stubborn and they're set in their ways. But you know what? They get shit done.
Yeah, and what I like about them is that like
done.
yeah. They are the type of people where, like, let's say everybody's out having a really drunken night, and they are the
You
ones
could just say you having a drunken night.
okay, fine. I'm the one who's tipsy at the bar trying to go home with the bartender, and
I'm the one crying on the sidewalk.
Yeah. And your Capricorn friend is the one who somehow gets all three of us home in a
gets
timely
all
manner.
of us home.
Make sure
Also-
he has water.
And also did not come out with us.
Right, somehow.
Like Capricorns, like, probably had a project due at work, finished their project at work, met us at a bar, was like, Josh is crying, or Kyle is crying.
Yeah.
Josh is trying to go home with a bartender. You know what you both need? Water and a pizza.
Yeah.
We're going home.
And then they just take us home.
Yeah, no, I like Capricorns.
They're
They
great.
have a really dry sense of humor, but I think, I don't know. I know that they're not going to fuck me up.
No,
So,
they're trustworthy.
they're trustworthy.
Yeah.
So, I chose a song. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Don't look at my notes.
Oh, okay. Yes.
Okay. Work Bitch by Britney
Oh,
Spears.
yeah,
Needless to say,
You better work, bitch.
You better work, bitch.
Yeah.
If you want something in life, you better work, bitch.
Yeah. I
And
feel
I-
like that's just like, you know how people have like little sayings above their like desks and stuff like that?
Yeah.
I feel like that's just theirs to
Yeah.
achieve. Yeah.
Yeah.
You better work, bitch.
You better work, bitch.
You want a Bugatti?
You want a Bugatti?
You want a hot body? You want to talk to Josh Bonnie?
I wasn't ready for that.
Shout out Michael Burton, love you.
Oh, he'll be on later.
Yes.
I feel like this is almost like if I could go back in time, we would be playing this to 2018 us and be like, this is your intervention. Like, y'all have had way too much to drink.
I was like, at this point, we've gone through like 10 zodiac signs, and all we're doing is just talking about like how much we love going out.
I know. I do. That one thing in quarantine, quarantine, I do miss going out.
I do, yes.
Like, I want to, I do see it in the future. I don't know when that future is going to be, but I cannot wait for the time to just be like on the dance floor, a song is playing, and we're just like all dancing and just like happy.
Right?
That just sounds like really like that warms my little heart, just like pure joy.
I will,
Work,
yeah.
bitch, I would still say it works for Capricorn.
Yeah. And I still say to this day, you want to talk to Josh Bonnie? You better work, bitch.
That's true.
It's still one of my favorite things that Mike Burton has ever told me.
It's good. I like it a lot.
Yeah.
Also, why was I saying like you were trying to hook up with the bartender and I was the one crying on the sidewalk? See, I was like going through something. Cause like I it was like that self-deprecating, like, oh, poor Kyle thing, where it's like fast forward like 2 years. I mean, we haven't really gotten to go out this year, but like, yeah, that's changed, I think.
I was like, another Ariana Grande moment. We have no tears left to cry, really. Like, I can't imagine
Yeah.
anyone crying at the club anymore. Though it was a fun
Yeah.
time at one point. I look back at those
Yeah.
times fondly.
I don't. Did I cry in clubs?
I've seen you cry once at a club.
When?
Uh,
Legit, when? I don't remember this.
Blackout Wednesday. Technically, we're outside of the club, but yeah.
I still don't remember this.
See, it was a successful blackout.
No, I don't think. Well, yeah, I don't remember that.
Yeah, I'll tell you later. But speaking of Mike Burton, that was a great segue into our next episode, which was the very first time we had a guest star on Fear the Queer.
Yes.
And so this was the episode where we promoted Michael Burton's album Boink and his visual album. And here's a few clippets of our first semi-successful interview. Did you have any plans of creating this album? Like, when did you start thinking about doing this?
Well, since I was about, 19, I've been kind of just cataloging most of the things that happened to me through music.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew I didn't really have, much of a following, so I only put up songs on Bandcamp or SoundCloud, every now and then.
Right.
So then eventually it came to a point where I was, very unhappy for a long time.
Yeah.
And I was like, there's something, I'm not trying to date men, I'm not trying to date women, I'm just trying to spend time working on this music and figure out how far I can push this.
Mm-hmm.
Then it became the point of writing all the things that had jumbled in my head that was scratching at the surface.
Right.
And that was right in 2016, the end of 2016.
So it wasn't recent.
December,
Yeah.
it was December 2016. And then so as I started to tell my friends and family and started to become aware of my community and environment and stuff like that.
Because your coming out experience, which we actually experienced as
Well, because when did I meet you? Was it 2 years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was 2 years ago. Yeah.
It was right around the same time.
And
it was
we literally watched you blossom from your small town Ohio days to the fully fledged person you are now.
Yes.
Yes.
So,
literally, girl had a makeover. He had a long
You look like Jesus.
Yeah, he had a long ponytail, a very big scruffy beard, and you're like...
It comes to that point where you're you realize why you're not trying to participate in a community, and then you kind of realize that the community that you were trying to participate in doesn't actually have a place for you.
Yeah.
And then you find the one that's there's actually a bunch of people like you.
Yeah.
And then it becomes the flood of being well then, wow, what took me so long to actually join?
Aww.
That's
Mike,
cute.
I love him. First of all, we were just talking about how everyone comes out to you.
We got the receipts are there.
Yeah.
The receipts are there.
I don't know. This just makes me want to have more guests on. I just want to hear people's stories.
We should. Yeah.
I feel like it would be a great opportunity for people to just... I don't know. I mean, you and I can have our Barbara Walters, Oprah Winfrey moment. Be let's be real here. What's going on?
Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Let's really, I feel like that's what Fear the Queer kind of is us just talking. It's a talk show, basically.
Yeah.
We just, you can just talk about whatever we want to. And everything on our gay agendas.
Right. I was going to say, it just so happens that you have two self-centered fire signs at the center of it. So we usually don't have guest songs. We're we have a lot to talk about already.
I have a lot of personalities. So it's kind of like having a guest.
Exactly.
I could honestly listen to Mike talk about creativity and art and stuff all the time. This past summer, I was in the park drawing in my little old person chair. At 11 p.m. No, it was 11 a.m. Thank you very much. And all of a sudden I see someone running past and I was who, and then they stopped and they were in the sun walking towards me. And I was oh shit. And I put my mask on because I wasn't by anyone. And then I realized it was Mike.
Aww.
Yeah. And we just sat and talked about art and what we were doing, different projects we've been working on. And Mike's been killing it, just creating so much.
Yeah. I was going to say, if anyone has followed him on his Instagram page, I feel I'm just watching him release new art every day at this point.
Literally every day.
Yeah.
And if you want to follow Mike, which you should, it's The Cheap Soap, just exactly how it sounds. And yeah, Mike is putting out music. Huh?
Let me spell it out for you. THE.
Can you not spell cheap?
No.
I can. People describe me as cheap all the time. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, no, Mike is constantly putting out art and just it's fun to see the progression of where his art, when he first started posting, where that's gone to.
Mm-hmm.
So that's cool.
I know.
I like that.
I know. I was we should have him on again at some point and just to have him talk about what he's doing now. Cause I'm sure there's a lot
seriously.
to catch up on.
Yeah.
Anyway, here's the next part. there's certain it almost seems like there's certain stereotypes you have to live up to.
Yeah,
when you first come out, because you're just like, oh my god, I have to watch RuPaul's Drag Race, I have to know all these pop culture references and things like that. It's like, being gay is just part of your identity. It isn't your full identity.
Right, and those stereotypes don't create you necessarily. And if you do I fall into so many of the stereotypes, which is okay.
Yeah. But it's by the narrative that we chose for ourselves.
Right, and it's like, you never want to be like, well, everyone has to act that way, or has to like those things.
Every gay person likes Britney Spears.
Right,
right. I'm okay, girl.
Yeah, she's okay.
I'm not going to ask the DJ to turn it off. But I would like a different song to be played.
I agree.
We are such loud laughers.
Oh yeah, no, we're super, especially you get a few drinks in us. We are so loud.
Well, I feel like we're not even laughing just normally. I feel like we also are
we're
this.
Ah! Yeah, we're just ah! Screaming into the microphone. I love too that what's funny is when we're oh yeah, people will think that you have to watch RuPaul's Drag Race and know all these pop culture things. And fast forward 2 years, Mike started he's been watching RuPaul's Drag Race.
Really?
Yeah, we were talking about it a few months ago. He was watching season 5 and he was like, oh, I really love Jinx, and I was like, then I think you'll like the outcome.
Full circle.
So it's just yeah, it's really fun.
I also will say too, I think what's kind of cool about this show too is that I feel like at the beginning we feel like we were trying to have to explain a lot of things to people of what it meant to be queer and what it meant to be living the queer experience. And I think we've moved past that at this point. I feel like we don't have to really justify anything anymore at this point. And maybe it's quarantine. Maybe it's the fact that we're just there's so many more important things to worry about.
Yes.
Yeah.
yeah. I honestly feel it's less having to explain, less I feel less we're doing the show for people who don't understand what the LGBTQ community is, and more just doing it to do it. And maybe that's why people aren't contacting us anymore, is because we're not doing it for the straight people anymore. They're I don't understand this anymore. No, I'm joking. Sorta. I'm not. I mean, because in the beginning it was wow, thank you so much for explaining how important representation is, or what your coming out story is. Or, I mean, even if you listen to episode 5 with Mike, he talks about his coming out story and how that affected his creativity and what he is working on and things like that. And now it's kind of mama, if you don't understand things,
right,
Google.
All right.
Google it. Google it.
I always wanted to hear queer music like this, and I feel like I would have made steps to coming out a lot earlier if there was available music like this.
Yeah.
When I was 15 and 16 and looking through every single album I could download for free ever because Spotify wasn't around.
Sure,
and
yeah.
we just stole every song from everybody and just burned it on CD and hid it under our bed. But there was I never found
a defining queer artist, really.
An artist that talked openly about douching or
right.
any of even the weird little missteps and being
right.
gay. Never have ever heard a song like that.
Well, and I love the openness. My favorite line is, sell my art on the internet, sell my heart on the internet. You can pay whatever you like. It only costs half my life.
Yeah, I almost teared up at that
Yeah,
point.
I did tear up. It's an emotional thing.
It definitely feels weird when you feel like you have all these problems in your life, and then someone's like, you can just sell your paintings on Etsy. You're like, okay, idiot.
Yeah.
Did you really think that was gonna turn?
It's going to solve your life.
Yeah. All your
that was
problems
the
are gonna
thing
go
too.
away.
It's I felt like I worked so hard. I felt like I always kind of make jokes about this in my head, that this album took 27 years to make. And I'm and it's kind of a joke, but it's also kind of it actually did cost me half of my life to eventually get to a point where I can say this to everybody. Right. So it's it's sarcastic, but it's also honest, and it's
It made both of us tear up. So either we're old emotional queens, which we are, or I just think it's honest music.
I'd just like to say that the fact that I said that at 27 or 28 we were old emotional queens, and now I'm 30 and I'm like, I'm not old.
Age is just a concept, darling.
That's what I took away from that segment. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I had a point and I totally forgot about it, which makes me just wonder, like, maybe I'm just getting bored with my own voice now.
Because I'm bored in the house and I'm in the house bored. Bored in the house and I'm in the house bored. But that's from TikTok.
Yeah, I know.
Do you know that? Oh, okay. I didn't know if you have to ask your friend.
Yeah, someone actually showed me that video. I didn't actually look it up, unfortunately.
It's okay. Don't worry about it. I think it's funny. I mean, huh?
I was gonna say, eventually, what if we turn into a TikTok show?
A TikTok show? Well, we have to do everything in like 60 seconds.
I mean, maybe that's how we get more listeners.
That's the extension. The extension plan. Attention plan. Attention span. Wow. Literally, the extension span. My brain short circuited.
Very much so.
Maybe drinking helps us. Maybe we should be drinking more when we record.
You know what? We should do that. We'll have an episode where you and I just get completely wasted.
And we just talk about whatever. Or like we like have like a hat full of topics.
Yeah.
And we just like, you can just pull out and be like, oh, we're talking about this. And I'm like, don't make me sing.
I don't even know what part to begin with.
You're like, I didn't ask you to sing. And I'm like, don't do it. I'm gonna do it. I did it. That's also TikTok. See, I'm young and hip. I love. It's also interesting too because like we talk about like queerness in music in that segment, and think of like all the queer musicians that are like out and proud and like unabashedly so, and it doesn't like we have like Lil Nas X. We have I mean Miley Cyrus has always been queer. We have Janelle Monáe.
Mm-hmm.
At first, I thought you said Jenna Maroney, and I was like, from 30 Rock?
She's a queer icon.
True.
Yeah. What's her name? Haley Kiyoko? Is that how you?
Yeah, she's queer. Alex Newell.
Yes.
Now we're just naming people who are Troye Sivan. Years and years. Holly Alexander. I will always love him.
It's funny because
so cute.
Mike was talking about how like a queer artist doesn't openly talk about douching, and I remember at the time laughing about it because I was like, well, what artist would be talking about that in a song? But Troye Sivan made a song about bottoming, so it's never out of the realm now.
It's not, he's singing about blooming for you.
Exactly.
The only blooming I want right now, though, if I'm to be honest, you took my joke. Yeah, I want a blooming onion.
Me too.
I'm just like holidays. You know what the holidays says for me? Blooming onions.
Blooming onions.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So on to the next one.
So my number 5 film of the year is Love, Simon.
Aw, that was actually my alternate.
It wasn't on your alternate? Yeah. Okay, so we won't drink to that because I'm already drinking a lot.
Okay.
So why do I love Simon?
Duh.
I know. Okay, but here's the thing. When
the first Hollywood feature film featured a teen gay film.
Right, and I just kept thinking, like, I wasn't going to like it.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, there are elements that I think are kind of, like, cheesy. Like, he is a upper class, like, he's... Yeah. I mean, they try to make him seem middle class, but that house is banging.
Right.
And, his parents are still married, and he's white, and...
It's definitely, like, a watered-down version of Call Me By Your Name, for sure.
Right, minus, like, the weird older gentleman pursuing the younger.
Right.
But it's like, it's a cute movie. It's great. If you like The Breakfast Club, if you like Ferris Bueller's Day Off, it's that, except gay.
Right. Like, you know how I said that The Danish Girl was kind of like transgender rights 101 for white people?
This is like gay coming out for white people 101.
101.
Yes,
exactly.
I agree.
It's a great vanilla wafer of gay teen coming out stories.
And it's so sweet.
And it is sweet. And
it's so sweet.
I think it's a great starting film.
Yeah, and you know, it's a happy ending.
And there are great moments in that film, like Jennifer Garner's monologue.
That's a great moment. That made me cry.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't think I was going to cry watching it, but I definitely cried.
No, it's definitely recommended, especially for anybody who may not be familiar with the LGBTQ community.
Or just like the idea of coming out. I think if I would have seen that when I was 17, I would have felt so much more...
I probably would have came out sooner.
I would have come out sooner.
Susan?
I would have come out, Susan.
I love Lizzo. I mean, she won me over by that simple line where she's like... I think the clips ran together here.
Just going to say, Susan to Lizzo? No, I still love Susan. Love Susan. Now, that is the movie that we need. We need a Love Susan where it's a lesbian coming out.
Yeah.
Because we don't understand what that is now.
No, I love how, as we were listening to this, we just like started getting distracted with the music and we just started dancing to it.
Yeah. I was kind of like, okay, wow, that background noise, see, it did come in handy.
Yeah.
If we were boring, you could dance to us.
Exactly.
I guess, like, what are you going to say?
I was going to say, it's crazy that Love, Simon only came out 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm just going to beat a dead horse at this point, but it's just like, yeah, we have so much more queer content now. Like,
yeah. I miss straight people. I'm joking. I don't miss you.
I was like, don't give them hope.
Oh, no.
All right.
I love Lizzo.
I mean, she won me over by that simple line where she's like, from the fly boys to the gay boys, go and slay boys, you my fave boys.
She's amazing.
It's a very sex-positive, fun track from a heavier set black woman.
She's a plus-size woman who owns her beautiful curves.
Mm-hmm.
Like, same.
Right. And she's very inviting to, like, anybody who may not fit the norm, be like, come kiki with me.
Well, you know what she said once? They were talking to her and she was like, okay, like... She's like, gay people support me, so why wouldn't I support them?
Right.
She's like, I'm a plus-size black woman. Like, I have a lot of things set against me in this world. Why would I not support everyone?
Right.
So I'm like, yes, Lizzo. I love her. One of my favorite songs, it didn't come out in 2018, so I didn't include it, but one of my favorite songs that she has is Worship Me. It's so good. I love it. It's just kind of like, I'm a big, beautiful woman. You will worship me. And I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Lizzo's amazing. So I'm glad that she was on your list because she was an alternate for me.
There you go. First of all, can I just say I cringed at the fact that I called Lizzo a heavier set woman.
I cringe for you.
Yeah, I was like,
you're like Lizzo is a heavier set person.
Yeah, I'm really sorry, Lizzo, that I even uttered those words. You can see, I'm canceled now.
About time.
Yeah, finally.
This is what I've been trying to tell people, is we need to cancel Josh Bonnie.
Yeah. No.
This is what you don't see.
I slipped. No, the reason why I added this is because Lizzo hadn't even blown up yet. Like, Lizzo didn't...
Wait, really?
Yeah, Truth Hurts wasn't playing on the radio at that point. Lizzo was still an underground artist that we hyped up.
So you're saying Lizzo is famous because of us?
No, I'm just saying, like, I know we keep saying we're ahead of the culture, but, like...
They always say that gay people are ahead of things.
Right? Like, we claim them, and then we make them popular, and then the straight people are just like, it's ours now.
They're like, hey, we should play this on the radio. It's like, we've been playing it on the radio, sis.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Well, I finally had one cringe moment from listening to myself on this podcast.
Would you, I mean, how would we describe, I described her as plus size. Yeah. Honestly, like, I feel like, well, I also feel like the terminology, like, I think that we see more people, like, go through and talk about how fat isn't a bad word.
Mm-hmm. I was
so, like,
yeah.
So, but, like, a couple years ago, I don't think people, like, we didn't really know, like, oh, can we just call people fat? Mm-hmm. And I guess, like, that's also, like, a thing. Like, I think it depends on how they identify. If they want to be like, oh yeah, I'm like you can call me fat. I'm a chubby person. Mm-hmm. I don't care. Like, like, that doesn't bother me. Like, congratulations, you stated the obvious. I don't give a fuck.
Right.
So like I feel like I don't know. I think it depends on the person that you're dealing with.
Right. Well, I think, yeah, I was gonna say, I know people are normalizing feeling comfortable calling themselves fat.
And how dare they?
Right. I was gonna say, I don't know if I would feel comfortable just yet to just call someone like that unless I was given permission by them first to say that's okay, you know?
Yeah.
But I definitely will never openly state that someone is heavy or set ever again. That's for sure. So on to the next one. So I can just erase that from my memory here.
I'm not gonna let you.
So my number one for husband is from Years and Years lead singer that we've already talked about, Ollie Alexander.
Okay. So you do have a type.
What's my type?
Skinny boy who is kind of weird looking.
Oh! I want you to say that to everyone else on my list.
What?
Who else on my list is a skinny boy who is weird looking?
I'm talking about all your exes.
Oh! You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Any person that Kyle has dated is white, skinny, and kind of fucked up looking.
Can I say that until Josh met me, I was not dating white men.
Oh, that's true.
And then Josh met me and he put a curse on me and he was like, you're gonna date the basicest of white people.
Who either look like frogs or...
They do not look like frogs. They're my frog princess and I'm into it.
So here I am calling you ugly. Like, you're sad.
I am shocked that you said that like my exes were unattractive when not all of them were unattractive.
Only one. Like,
yeah, one. And you know what? And his insides weren't good either.
Yeah.
So he wasn't a good person anyways.
Yeah,
and we don't even talk to him anymore. We don't even talk about him.
Yeah.
Who is she? Yeah.
I definitely was going through something at that moment, definitely, if I was openly like saying such hurtful things towards people. So I apologize for that.
What were you going through?
I don't know. Apparently I was just like I think I was just anti-exes at that time because I think that was like the tail end of like my bad relationship. And I was just like, men are gross and I'm just gonna say some horrible things about them. Even though
I feel like you couldn't yeah, it was like my relationship, and I think that you couldn't comprehend. I don't know if you can still. Maybe you can. I don't know. I'm not going to speak for you, but I feel like at the time, specifically, you couldn't comprehend how I could be like chill with an ex, or like not think like super negatively towards people I've dated.
Yeah.
And now I feel like you kind of get it. Like you get it, or maybe do you? I don't know.
I mean, I don't have any ill will towards any of my exes anymore. Like, I don't have the same level of them of like, oh, I can chat with them. But I think that's just my relationship. But now I get it. Yeah.
Like I can talk to people. It's called growth. It's called growth.
Sorry.
Sorry. I'm trying to think of. I also I want to point this out. You said that I have a type, and I don't know if I do. I think I did at the time. I think I do. Like, I think I have a personality type that I'm drawn to.
Oh, well, yeah.
But I don't think that necessarily is a physical thing.
But I don't think the personality aspect of what you were attracted to back then, I still don't think that applies now. I still think that you would probably...
Oh, I think it's different now. I think I've changed. Yeah. Because I used to want to be like the caretaker and like want to make sure everyone's okay. And now I'm kind of like, no, I need someone who's like I need someone just as fiercely independent as I am that like just like does their own thing. I do my own thing. We both think that we're both the shit. And we just like come together every so often. Like I feel like I'm less in the like relationship realm of things and more in just like I'm gonna do my own thing and eventually the right person will come along maybe.
Right.
Yeah. Man, you really called my exes and my type ugly. You really did that.
I know.
Wow.
Here I was. Here, my goal was trying to cancel you throughout this episode, and lo and behold, I got canceled.
Well, I would never say any of your exes are ugly.
I
don't think I ever have. Really?
I'm kidding.
I remember one of your exes. I was like, oh no, very cute.
I'm kidding.
Oh, that was a joke.
Yeah. I mean,
Oh.
ugly on the inside. I will give that to one of them.
On the inside, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes you're ugly on the inside, but cute on the outside. Like me. No, I'm just kidding. I'm cute on the outside, ugly on... No, wait. Ugly on the outside, cute on the inside. There we
You're
go.
a cupcake. Shut up.
I know, I'm a cupcake. I'm a cupcake.
All right. So we just went through an entire season's worth of Fear the Queer. Basically, I mean, we've already explained at this point. I feel like we are a much better show now. I feel
Definitely.
Yeah,
I think we're more relaxed.
we're more relaxed. I feel like we don't have to explain our sense of humor to people. We're sober for most part now, like so people can come.
What is this? Oh my god! Like, could you imagine? Like, we're sober now, so like, we're boring. No, I'm just kidding. I think that like, yeah, we're like less
manic.
It felt like the first season. Oh, I'm still manic as fuck, baby. I feel like the first season felt like a lot of like introduction to things. And now I feel like, I don't know,
Well, now I have people who I don't even know that are part of your life who know me, and probably vice versa, thankfully, because of the show, you know? Like, they're like, oh yeah, Kyle.
Oh yeah.
Like, yeah.
Oh yeah. Like it's funny because like people will be like, oh yeah, Josh, and like mention you. And I'm like, you don't know Josh. And they're like, well, like I've heard the podcast, or like they know of you because of like podcast stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I always apologize. I'm like, sorry. But I'm
Well, for me, apparently, because I say such hurtful things.
I'm shocked that you were so hurtful. I feel like you've changed.
Yeah.
You're not as hurtful anymore.
No.
You're not trying. I feel like you're not trying to be like a baddie. I feel like you were like, I'm an Aries, so I'm like a baddie, and I'm mean and I'm feisty, and I'm just like, okay, we get it. You're insecure. No.
Yeah,
just
no,
like,
I think,
and I mean, like that applies for me too, because I was all like self-deprecating, and it's like, no, you're just insecure, bitch. Like, I feel like we're definitely more secure with ourselves as people, so we don't have to like put on preconceived notions of what people may think we are, or the kind of people that we are.
Right.
And now they
see us as beautiful lizard people. So.
I am not part of the GOP. We as you've heard, I don't have warm feelings towards them, so I'm not a lizard person.
You don't melt in hot rooms anymore.
Not anymore. I feel like I've gotten my sweating situation under. Oh yeah, do you see the it's running down my face? Yeah. My hair dye.
All right. Well, that was a good episode, Kyle.
That was fun.
Yeah. Where can people hear, listen, watch us at?
So you can hear, listen, watch us. Listen and watch. Listen, hear, watch us. Listen, hear, watch us on SoundCloud, Spotify, and Apple Podcast. And you can watch us, if you're watching us right now, you're on YouTube. Yeah. So congratulations. You know how to use the YouTubes.
You can use the YouTube, but help us do a TikTok.
Yeah, help us. I will say I don't know how to do any of like the TikTok dances. That was kind of good. You did like a little wobble thing.
Little renegade.
Whoa. Oh, see, you know the name. See, you know some of the names of the words.
Names of the words. I have that young coworker next to me all the time, so
have him teach you how to do the dances, and then you can teach me.
Okay.
Because I don't know.
Down effect.
Yeah, because like, and then I'll teach the other people who don't know how to do them.
There you go.
Because honestly, I don't know how to do TikTok dances either.
TikTok dance.
I don't know how to do the dick dances either. Hey.
All right. Thank you for tuning into another great episode of Fear the Queer. And as always, I'm Josh.
And I'm Kyle.
And we're Fear the Queer.
Fear the Queer. Bye. Or bye, Queens.
Oh, yeah. Bye.
Bye, Queens.
So stupid.
Gag me with a ladle. So stupid.
Shut up.